Chapter 16. The Elixir of Long Life. The Master Zanoni acquired his Chaldean initiation in very remote ages. As a result, he preserved his youthfulness for thousands of years. Megner, who was Zanoni's comrade, also lived through entire ages. These masters were invincible, death could not do anything against them. They were citizens of an already disappeared ancient nation, Chaldea. What was their secret? What was their power? When arriving to the present chapter of this book, many uneducated surgeons of occult medicine will look at us with condemnation. With compassionate gestures they will mock the elixir of long life and will consider these teachings senseless, since they feel they are something impossible for them. People have never comprehended, neither have they wanted to admit that the elixir of long life, the philosophical stone, and the clue of perpetual movement are found within the male testicles and within the female uterus. We have already said, and we will not tire of repeating, that the initiation is life itself, intensively lived, and that the human being's redemption exclusively lies in the sexual act. When our book The Perfect Matrimony started to circulate, then, as we had expected, many critics emerged who qualified us as pornographic. This was because the book was written in a simple language which was at the reach of everyone's comprehension, and also because the clue of sexual magic was given. Nonetheless, we know that for the pure ones, everything is pure, yet, for the impure ones, everything is impure. This is how the boasters of wisdom, the sick mystics, who through their morbid lucubration, which make them believe that they are super-transcended, came to qualify us as materialists. Such individuals totally ignore that nothing can exist, not even God, without the help of matter. Some old rascals, filled with decrepitude and consumed by the passionate coitus, and some sanctimonious, sexually unsatisfied old women threw the book away horrified and qualified it as scandalous and pornographic. This is because humanity does not love good but only evil. There were also some hallucinated mystics who pleaded in favor of an absurd type of chastity which some religious sects preach, but do not practice. They ignore that nature is in rebellion against that harmful abstinence, which causes nocturnal pollutions and the decalcification of the organism through the urethra. Sickness is the consequence. Men were made for women and women for men, because nature is wise in its designs. What man and woman have to learn is to enjoy themselves without hurting each other, and the answer for this is sexual magic. During the act of love, the Gnostic couple transmutes their semen into atomic energy by restraining the sexual act. This energy then rises upwards towards their head through certain spermatic canals. This is how the human being is converted into a god. This is not understood, cannot be understood, neither can it be explained by the pseudo-apostles of modern medicine, simply because they do not know the anatomy of the 7 bodies of the human being. They do not know about the occult chemistry or the ultrabiology of the interior organisms of the human being, which are the fundamental base of the hormonal life and of the endocrine glands. The Hindus gave the name Ida and Pingla to the spermatic canals through which the sexual energy internally rises towards the head. These are nervous cords which are related with the vagus and sympathetic systems. These cords are entwined along the spinal column in the symbolic shape represented by the caduceus of Mercury. The human organism has its canals for the spilling of the semen. However, it also possesses seminal canals through which the semen, when transformed into energy, rises from the seminal glands upwards towards the head. This is because the mass, semen, is always transformed into energy, as was already proven by the wise and great Einstein. This process is what we call transmutation. These ascending spermatic canals were in use by human beings in very ancient epochs. The doctors of medicine among the Indians of the Sierra Nevada from Santa Marta, Colombia, are still utilizing these canals ever since very ancient times. This is why they reach a very old age, maintaining a very lucid understanding, black hair, and intact dentures. Among these Indians, we frequently see their children reach the octogenarian and centenarian ages, while in our present civilization, the human being is already in decrepitude by the age of 70. There exist thousands of evidences in order to make the civilized and scientific person to think upon this particular matter. For example, an infant whose sexual energy has not yet been collected in his gonads has this energy latent in his entire organism. This is why if this infant is wounded, his body will heal more rapidly than the body of an adult, because the adult has been wasting his sexual forces since puberty. Moreover, the adult does not know how to handle his sexual energies as in the case of the infant. Great is the error which the youth commit and also which their parents commit when they allow their children to squander the sexual force in pleasures and disgusting habits. They need to be taught that the vital principle resides within this great force. It is true, as official science states, that sex is a biological function. Yet, the Decalogue teaches us with its 6th commandment that we must not squander the sexual force, because this force only accomplishes a constructive or creative function. Therefore, the liberty which the parents give to their children in order for them to freely fulfill their biological functions is not lacking of being a crime committed against the youth. Sexual magic has the following advantages. 1. Husband and wife continue loving each other for life with growing intensity, as if they were boyfriend and girlfriend. 2. It does not fill the spouse's lives with children. 3. Woman rejuvenates, she turns more beautiful and attractive every day because she is daily charged with powerful forces, thanks to her husband. 4. Aged man rejuvenates and does not ever get old because life is given to him through their creative forces. Thus, luck and happiness surround them everywhere. 5. The sense of clairvoyance is awakened in both, and so the veil of the invisible worlds is disclosed before their sight. 6. The sacred fire of the Holy Spirit illuminates them internally. 7. They unite themselves with their own intimate, internal God. Thus, they convert themselves into king and queen of creation with powers over the 4 elements of nature, which are earth, water, air, and fire. 8. They acquire the elixir of long life, which resides in the Kundalini. 9. Death will be no more. All of this is a fact, in spite of the doctors, who are consecrated by the materialistic university. Heaven is taken by assault, because heaven is for the courageous ones. The Gnostics, protected with their character shield of steel, grasp their sword of will, and as terrific warriors they hurl themselves into battle in order to take heaven by assault. We, the Gnostics, are human beings of great tempests, and within the explosion of thunder, we only understand the language of majesty. When the warrior is close to the initiation, then he can laugh at death with a guffaw that can shake all of the caverns of the earth. Then, he can have the right to the elixir of long life, which is a potable gold and a liquid, flexible and malleable glass. He asks the lords of karma for additional years of life in order to pay his debts. This is how death and resurrection are achieved in his present incarnation, and how he is united with his intimate. Then, when his own karma is paid, he convokes the lords of karma, in order to declare to them that he has resolved to remain in this world in order to work for humanity. Therefore, he remains with his physical body forever, till the end of all centuries. The masters Count Hume, Mona, Saint Germain, etc., have physical bodies which have existed for thousands of years. All of them have an indescribable age. What would a master of major mysteries do if he had to constantly change his physical body? The founder of the College of Initiates is a Mahaguru who will remain with us until the last initiate has reached his rank. The author of the Dayspring of Youth tells us that in Egypt there exist two masters who have a really indescribable age. He states that one of them is mentioned within very ancient religious scriptures. A master can preserve his physical body for millions of years because he possesses the elixir of long life, which resides in the Kundalini. The master keeps engendering his own body daily by means of his Kundalini. Thus, the cells of the body of a master never wither because the fire of the Kundalini does not allow them to do so. The Kundalini is then the elixir of long life. This fire is the potable gold of ancient alchemists. The Kundalini is the tree of life, which the book of Genesis refers to in the following verses. And of the ground made Jehovah Elohim to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Genesis 2:9. The tree of life is the Kundalini and the tree of knowledge of good and evil is the semen. Both trees are from the garden of God. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted, and became into 4 heads. The name of the first is Pison, that is it which compasseth the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good, there is bdellium and the onyx stone. The land of Havilah is our own physical body, and the gold of this land is the solar atoms from our seminal system, that is to say, the semen's potable gold. And the name of the second river is Gihon, the same is it that compasseth the whole land of Ethiopia. This second river is the cephalorhachis liquid, which is the other pole of our seminal system. With it we encompass the whole land of Ethiopia, that is to say, the whole of our head and throat, since we form the brain and throat with the cephalorhachis liquid. And the name of the third river is Hiddekel, that is it which goeth toward the east of Assyria. And the fourth river is Euphrates. Genesis 2:10-14. The river which goes toward the east of Assyria and the river Euphrates are the 2 poles of the woman's seminal system. Therefore, the woman is towards the east of us, because she is the door of paradise, and this door is always towards the east. Eden is sex itself. Thus, the tree of life is within Eden itself. The great Hierophant Eliphaz Levi said that the great magical arcanum is the tree of life, and that, at the foot of this tree is the source of the 4 mysterious rivers of Eden. Yet, he fearfully says in a moment of consternation, here I must pause, and I fear that already I have said too much. This is the formidable, unutterable secret, which no initiate has ever dared to reveal. This is the formidable secret of the great arcanum. The 4 rivers of Eden are the sexual forces of man and woman. The tree of life is in the midst of these 4 rivers of Eden. If the human being, with all of his vices and passions, could have eaten from the tree of life in Eden, then Nero still would be alive, and the great tyrants would not have left a single moment of light for humanity. Caligula and the 12 Caesars from Rome would still be alive, they would still be upon their thrones. Fortunately, Jehovah knew how to keep the way of the tree of life. So, he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden a cherubim, and a flaming sword which turned every way, to keep the way of the tree of life. Genesis 3:24. Ignite your 9 mystic lamps, O Chela. Listen to me, a master abides in the bottom of your soul, he awaits in mystical lurking, waiting for the hour that he will be self-realized. Listen to me, beloved disciple. That master is your intimate, and you are the soul of that master. The intimate becomes master with the fruits of millenary experiences, through innumerable reincarnations. Do not forget, beloved disciple, that you are a soul and that your physical body is your suit. Listen to me, beloved disciple, when your outfit is damaged, what do you do with it? You throw it away because you no longer need it, and you cannot deny this. Yet, if you wish to replace your outfit, then where do you go? You might answer me that you will go to the tailor's store, in order for the tailor to make another outfit for you. Therefore, beloved disciple, I have already told you that you are a soul and that your body is your suit. Your suit of flesh was well made, in accordance to your own proportions. This suit of flesh was made by two laborers, that is to say, your father and your mother. When your present suit of flesh is damaged, what will you do with it? You will throw it from you, and if you want to replace it, then you have to search for a new pair of male and female laborers, in order for them to build for you another suit of flesh, well made and in accordance to your own proportions. You might ask me how? Well, how was your present suit of flesh which you use made? In the same way, the new tailors will make for you your new suit. So then, this should not be strange to you. When you undress yourself, taking off your fabric clothing, and you put on another garment, it is clear that you do not stop being Mr. or Ms. XX. Neither do you forget your business and your debts. So, whether wearing a suit of cotton or wearing another of wool, you will always pay your debts. The same happens when you, as a soul, redress yourself with a new suit of flesh. You have to pay your old debts, and you have to pay them because there is no other way. Since these debts are your evil actions. Listen to me, beloved reader. There are millions of suits of flesh, which you have taken off since the beginning of the world. If you do not remember, indeed other people do remember. A day will come in which you will remember your millions of deaths and births from the very constitution of the world. Do not forget that Adam is not one man, neither is Eve one woman. Indeed, Adam is all of the millions of men of Lemuria, and Eve is all of the millions of women of Lemuria. The souls that in this day and age you see wearing a suit of flesh and bones are the same souls of Lemuria, who in those times were wearing other suits of flesh and bones. In the dawn of life, the four thrones emanated from their own life source millions of human bodies in an embryonic state. These human bodies were developed through the ages. Now they are our marvelous physical bodies which are made from the mud of the earth. All of this is explained by the Bible. Yet, in order to study the Bible, one needs to have studied occultism, because the Bible is a book of occultism, and cannot be read at face value, as when reading a newspaper. Therefore, the Bible is the book of the Gnostics, and only when one becomes a Gnostic can one understand it. The mystery of life and death. Listen, dear reader, each time that you wear a new suit of flesh, you are a little less of a villain, a little less of an assassin, a little less envious. This is because one truly learns from life's club blows, and the soul is really perfected through suffering. When the wild colt is tamed with a whip, then the day for the soul to be united with its intimate arrives, and the soul is converted into an angel. This is performed through being born and through dying millions of times, yet, it is also very true that we can achieve the union with the intimate in just one very well spent life. It is also very true that we can preserve our youth and not die by means of the elixir of long life. Megner lived with his body of flesh and bones for 7 times 7 centuries. Zanoni also remained young for millions of years. The Count of Saint-Germain presently lives in Tibet with the same body that he had during the 17th, 18th and part of the 19th centuries in Europe. We, the Gnostics, laugh at death. We have the secret in order to mock the mute skull, and as we previously stated in the first chapter, we will make the inopportune guest, death, flee with the sword of Damocles. We feel ourselves omnipotent, and with a gesture of sovereign rebellion, we challenge science. Foolish doctors, ignorant biologists, arrogant physicists, where is your wisdom? Death sweeps away everyone, wealthy and poor, believers and unbelievers. All are defeated by death, except we, the Gnostics. We, the Gnostics, laugh at death, and we place it before our feet because we are omnipotent. Ignite your 9 mystic lamps, O Lenu, disciple. Remember that each one of the 9 initiations of lesser mysteries has a musical note and an instrument which produces it. There are 3 conditions that are necessary in order to receive the elixir of long life: sexual magic, perfect sanctity, and to know how to consciously travel in the astral body. Many people can start by traveling with their own physical body within the astral plane because this is easier. Later on, they can become practical in the use and control of the astral body. Some people are acquiring their sanctity little by little. The best way to put it into effect is to make an addition of all of our defects, then to terminate each one of them in a successive order by dedicating 2 months to each defect. Whosoever wants to terminate various defects in one time is similar to the hunter who wants to hunt 10 hares at the same time. He does not succeed in hunting any one of them. Now, concerning sexual magic, there is the need to accustom the organism little by little to it, for there exist such brutal individuals who would not feel the slightest bit of pain if their own leg was cut during the sexual act. These are human beasts. In the beginning, the couple can practice standing on their feet. The husband will massage his wife from the coccyx upwards towards her neck with his index, middle fingers and his thumb, with the intention of awakening the kundalini of his wife. She, likewise, will do the same thing to her husband with the intention of awakening his kundalini. The mind should be concentrated on the spinal medulla and not in the sexual organs. The days for beginners of sexual magic will be Thursdays and Fridays at dawn. In the beginning, there should be no sexual connection. Later on, days, maybe weeks, the man will introduce his penis within the vagina and opportunely withdraw it, in order to avoid the seminal ejaculation. Man and woman must mutually kiss and caress during this practice, pronouncing the mantra I-A-O like this: E-H-H-H-H-H-H-H-H-O-H-H-H-H-H-H 7 or more times, taking an inhalation of air for each letter. When strong pain is felt in the coccyx, then it is a sign that the fire of Kundalini has awakened. This fire will rise along the canal of the spinal column, cannon by cannon, vertebra by vertebra, in accordance with our moral merits. The awakening of the Kundalini is celebrated in the Children's Hall with a great celebration. The decisive factor in the progress, development, and evolution of the Kundalini is ethics. There is the need for the disciple to be skillful in the astral so that he can assist the pretor of the Holy Gnostic Church at dawn on Fridays and Sundays. The other days, the disciple can receive wisdom within the temple's hall of esoteric instruction. At the gate of the Holy Gnostic Church, there are some guardians who allow the entrance of the disciples based on the condition that their conduct was upright during the day. These guardians have certain scales with which they weigh the good and evil deeds that the disciples performed during the day. Also, there exists within the Gnostic Church a lens with which the colors of the disciple can be examined. When the disciple does not carry all of his complete colors, then he cannot bring the memories into his body. Many times, due to daily preoccupations, these colors remain within the physical body. An extremely fine nervous tissue, which is totally unknown by the men of science, exists in our brain. This tissue is the instrument in order for us to bring back our internal memories. Yet, when an injury is present in such a tissue, then the disciple cannot bring back his memories into his brain. Then, there is the need to ask the masters Hermes, Hippocrates, or Paracelsus for the healing of such a center. A letter must be written to the Temple of Alden, asking for the help of any of the 3 mentioned masters. Such a letter must firstly be saturated with the smoke of frankincense. Afterwards, the letter must be burned with fire, while pronouncing the mantras Om Tat Sat Om. One must perform this action filled with faith, kneeling, praying to heaven and begging to be heard. Certainly, the material part of the letter is burned, yet the astral counterpart goes directly to the hands of the master to which the letter is meant for. Thus, the master reads the astral counterpart of the letter and then proceeds to heal the disciple. The Temple of Alden is the temple of science. The internal bodies also get sick and are also in need of the assistance of these doctors. These doctors are the masters of science, who are wealthy in wisdom. They heal the internal bodies of the initiates and also of anyone who asks for help. One of the gravest inconveniences for practicing sexual magic is impotence. The excessive performance of the coitus brings, among other things, impotence. None of the remedies which were invented by allopathic doctors have given any cure for this. Yet, the daily practice of sexual magic heals impotence. Now we are going to give a formula in order for those who suffer that terrible sickness, impotence, to be healed, with the condition that there has not been any injury to the virile member. Very few are the human beings who have stopped to meditate upon the transcendental value of the plant called the aloe. I have seen the aloe plant hung on a wall without pure air, without water, light, and soil. Nonetheless, it remains filled with life, it multiplies its leaves and miraculously reproduces itself. What does it live on? What does it take for nourishment? This precisely is an inconvenience for the modern pseudobotanists, since they only duplicate what others say. Very seldom does one of them have the insight to individually investigate within the marvelous laboratory of nature. The unique thing which the pharmacists can do with the aloe is create German liquor and pectorals. These are the only things which they make with their famous aloe gel. It is a great pectoral, yet they do not even remotely know about the transcendental importance of the aloe. The aloe nourishes itself with the ultrasensible rays of the sun, with the crystonic substance of the sun. The aloe gel is the crystallization of the astral light from the sun. Therefore, the gel is the semen of the sun. This is why a great similitude exists between the aloe gel and the human semen. Consequently, the aloe is a great panacea for the healing of impotence. The procedure is as follows: put into a casserole, pan or pot 1 white panela, hard cane sugar commonly found in Colombia, so it can be melted by the fire. This casserole must not contain water. Once the panda is liquefied, you must add the gel of a complete aloe plant, then add 10 grams of iron. Stir this very well with a hand mill while on the fire. When everything is very well stirred, then take the casserole from the fire and bottle up this substance, adding a little bit of sodium benzoate so that it cannot ferment. Label it, and take 1 spoonful of the remedy every hour. Impotence is cured with this marvelous formula. We will give another marvelous formula for the healing of impotence in our next book, which is in preparation, entitled Occult Medicine and Practical Magic. Any woman who wants to awake her kundalini must practice sexual magic with her husband. She must also vocalize the mantra E-E-E-Ah-Oh and refrain from the orgasm. Thus, the woman must withdraw herself from her husband before the approaching of the spilling of her feminine semen. This is the way in which women can awake their kundalini in a positive way. The unique difference of the female with the male in relation to the kundalini is that the 2 ganglionic canals called Ida and Pingla are inverted. The order of these canals in the male is Ida at his right and Pingla at his left. Yet, in the female it is Ida at her left and Pingla at her right. These 2 ganglionic canals resound with the note Fa of nature. Listen to me, beloved reader, when you feel that you are well prepared. Then ask the masters in the Holy Gnostic Church to submit you to the rigorous ordeals. If you wish special assistance, then invoke me, Samael Aun Weor. I will guide you through the 9 gates, which will give you the right to rise to the Golgotha of the high initiation, with the rough and heavy cross which is delivered to you in the first initiation of lesser mysteries. Remember, good disciple, that the cross weighs the weight of your own karma. Do not allow yourself to fall. Because the disciple who allows himself to fall has to suffer and fight very much in order to recuperate the loss. Listen to me, good disciple, the path is hard and filled with cobblestones and thorns. Poverty and infamy will put on their masks in order to hurt you in the middle of your journey. You will sweat blood and your feet will also bleed in the middle of your journey because of the cobblestones on the path. The path of high initiation is the path of Golgotha. It is a path of tears and anguish. Light your candles in the silence of the night, and in that profound silence where you keep vigil, remember your internal God and enter into his cavern. He awaits for you inside, deep inside of yourself, awaiting for the hour of his self-realization. Light your candle, O Cella. In the silence of the night, penetrate very deeply into the sacred city of the serpent. Here inside is where your God is waiting for you. So, light the fire in the night, O Lenu. Close your eyes, withdraw your mind from any type of mundane preoccupations. Become a little sleepy and try to talk with your internal God in mystery through interior meditation. When through profound interior meditation you learn how to enter within your own cavern, then, O disciple, you will converse with your own intimate. Ignite your sacred fire in the profound night where you keep your vigil, thus you will leave the dense obscurity. Your God wants to talk to you within the burning bush of Oreb. Let your chant become sensitive to your 7 churches, O disciple, and do not forget that the verb is what opens the 7 doors of the 7 churches of your organism. Chant, O disciple, chant. Ephesus corresponds to the note do. Smyrna corresponds to the note re. Pergamos corresponds to the note mi. Thyatira corresponds to the note fa. Sardis corresponds to the note sol. Philadelphia corresponds to the note la. Laodicea corresponds to the musical note T. I, clairvoyance, middlebrow, note TIE, occult ear, larynx, note SOLO, intuition, heart, note FAU, telepathy, solar plexus, note MIA, memory of past lives, lungs, note LA. Chanting these vowels for 1 hour daily awakens all of these occult powers. The blood rises upwards towards the head when we vocalize the vowel I. The blood goes into the throat with the vowel E. With the O, it goes into the heart. The blood goes into the intestines with the vowel U and into the lungs with the A. Within one of the rituals, which the Master Huiracocha brought to Colombia, there is a mantric prayer, which is useful for sexual magic. This prayer must be pronounced in the moment when the husband and his priestess wife are practicing the connection of sexual magic. This prayer is as follows: Prayer, O Hadit, winged serpent of light, be thou the Gnostic secret of my being, the central point of my connection, my heart itself the sacred sphere and the blue of the sky are mine, O Ao Kakov Na Kansa, pronounced 3 times. When the Kundalini lights the atoms of language, which are located within the seminal system, then the human being acquires the power of speaking in all of the languages of the world. The great illuminated ones of the Atlantean chain spoke all of the languages of the world. The Kundalini becomes a creator in the throat. The Magi can create a figure with his mind and materialize it by means of the creative verb of his Kundalini. This is how the angels create living things. When the human being is already united with his intimate upon reaching the high initiation, then he utters the divine golden verb, which the gods utter. This is how we elevate ourselves to the pleroma of eternal happiness, and we convert ourselves into creative gods, by means of the verb. Therefore, a book whose theme is about the verb, word, yet does not teach sexual magic is simply flippant. To take the word out from the mysteries of sex is the breaking point of madness, since sex is the very base of the word. Thus, one cannot utter the divine golden verb, language, without the awakening of the Kundalini, and it is only awakened by practicing sexual magic. Whosoever is united with the intimate becomes omnipotent and omniscient. He knows how to command and to obey. He never becomes arrogant because he has learned to be simple and humble within the cosmos. The Master's sight penetrates within all of the spheres of nature. As a sovereign of the infinite, he unleashes the tempests and calms the hurricanes. He makes the earth tremble, the lightning serves him as a scepter, and the fire as a carpet for his feet. We will acquire the elixir of long life by practicing sexual magic. Thus, we will become omnipotent. Yet, in order to achieve omnipotence, it is first necessary to learn how to obey the white hierarchy. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they might have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. Revelation 22:13-14. The Song of Songs. I feel within my innermost parts a tormenting fire. It is the delectable wine of love. I am the rose of Sharon, and the lily of the valleys. I am the delectable perfume of passion. I live within the cup of the crowned poets. I am the chant of the bacchantes. I am the love of the starry heavens. I am the song of songs. The honey of thy lips agitates my innermost parts. Thus, I feel that I love thee. Thou art the mountain of myrrh, and the hill of frankincense. Thou art the fire of the arcanum. Thou art the erotic Alp, and the delectable smile where love has become undressed. Now, happy with the immortal wine, let us ignite a bonfire and let us chant the Walkyrias with a triumphant chant of flames and poetry. Let the liquor come, let the light and music come. Let the couples dance upon the soft carpet. Let the rose of Sharon sparkle within the cups, and let the fire devour the shadows. Let joy, fancy, and poetry come. Let us dance happily in the arms of love. Never mind the sayings. Let us enjoy together in the nuptial chamber, within spikenards and myrrhs, and let us chant our triumphal hymn of light and poetry.